Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. My name is Mercedes. In this video, I have two collections to share with you all from Glam Polish. One is their summer Carnival collection and the other one is their Sugar Rush collection. Glam Polish is a brand that will keep polishes on their website for a good amount of time. They always do some sort of sales, especially in the beginning of their releases. These have been out for a little while now. I'm not sure if any are on sale. They probably are. That's another great thing about Glam Polish is that their polishes do go on sale here and there. So sometimes you can find them at great prices. They do say that their collections are limited edition, so they're not going to be available forever, but they do stay on for a good amount of time. And I mean like a few months, if not maybe a little bit longer. I recently picked up a collection, I think that maybe came out in like November, and I picked it up maybe about 2 months ago, a month ago, so that says a lot. And they were on sale. Anyways, I have a lot of polish to share with you all, so let's get into the swatches. First up, we have Raise Your Glass, and this one is described as a periwinkle crelly with aurora shimmer and galaxy glitter. This one was such a nice, glowy, fun polish to work with. I know not a lot of people are fans of these skinny brushes from Glam Polish. I personally don't mind them. I can work with whatever brush you give me. Would I prefer a paddle brush? Sure, but you know, I'm not a picky brush person, so I'm okay with this. But you can definitely see this is going on pretty sheer on the first coat. It is acrylic as described in the description. On that second coat, we're seeing a lot more of that base building up. We can really see the periwinkle. I feel like it leans more purple to me. More like a lavender shade. But that beautiful aurora shimmer is just peeking through. We get some red, we get some pink in there. I feel like this is such a all year round color to wear. I love these sorts of like in between colors where it's like it could be purple, it could be periwinkle, it could be, you know, a little bit of pink in there too, but I really do enjoy them. Now you can see I built it up in 2 coats. I think long or short nails, 2 to 3 coats will work fine for you. I was really surprised that it built up to this opacity on the second coat. I mean, I was, but I wasn't, because it is Glam Polish. They do a great job, but I was expecting, you know, because of that first coat being so sheer that it would take a couple more coats to build up, but it didn't. So fantastic formula. Here you're seeing 2 coats of Raise Your Glass. Here we have Never Gonna Not Dance Again, and it's described as a lilac crelly with aurora shimmer and galaxy glitter. Now I know the previous polish was also described as having galaxy glitter. I don't know, I feel like this is hollow sparkle, and I feel like the previous one was hollow sparkle. I forgot to mention that. This one is definitely more jam-packed of it, you know, more shimmer than the previous polish we saw. It definitely is a lavender base or lavender shade, and definitely we have that crelly sort of consistency. Now with these skinny brushes, just a disclaimer, you do have to be a little bit careful because the polish can tend to run down the stem of the brush. So if you're not really an expert in polishing, you just want to keep that in mind when you are painting your nails. What we can see here on that second coat, we build it up to this nice, beautiful, like light lavender, light purple finish with this nice icy shimmer. I feel like this aurora shimmer shifts between a blue to a green, and it really does mix in well with this more lighter purple shade. I think long or short nails, 2 to 3 coats will work best for you. It's just going to depend on your preference and your nail line. You can definitely see the squishiness and the bounciness, and not that this isn't opaque on me, but you know, it's a little more on the thinner side, so longer nails, beware, you may need a 3rd coat to see the opacity that you're seeing on my nails. So here we're looking at 2 coats of Never Gonna Not Dance Again. Next up we have So What, and this one is described as a pink crelly with aurora shimmer and galaxy glitter. This definitely looks more like glitter than our previous polishes. You can see that they're more chunkier, they're more round, they definitely give off that nice glinty, glimmery effect. I love this shade of pink. This is like a corally, peachy sort of pink. The aurora shimmer, I feel like it shifts to this gold, orangey, copper sort of shade. and it gives you those sunset vibes that we all love seeing in the summertime. This one I feel like is great for now, for, you know, when you're going through heat waves still. I don't know about the areas you guys live in, but out here in New England, it still is hot, and it probably will stay hot until maybe like mid-September, maybe even the end of September. You just never really know. But this will be a beautiful polish as well for Valentine's Day. See, on that second coat, look how lovely that opacity just built up to. Very impressive for it being a Crelly polish. We get more of that nice pink shade. We get more of that shimmer that is just jam-packed in here. The glitter that's in this polish isn't too overwhelming. It's just the right amount to give you the nice little sparkle, and you can definitely see the larger circles of the glitter in this polish. So here we're looking at 2 coats of So What. Next up we have Effing Perfect. This one is described as a milky white Crelly with Aurora shimmer and Galaxy glitter. Now with this one, I ended up doing more coats just because it's a white polish, it's a Crelly. I kind of went a little bit too heavy on that first coat, so I had some difficulty really spreading the polish around. So just keep in mind that it was me, it's not the polish, it's me. But we can see that it's already this nice milky sort of white base. The Aurora shimmer in here, I feel like it shifts to a nice delicate yellowy orange sort of shade. The Galaxy glitter reminds me of hollow glitter. We can definitely see, I guess, the circles of glitter, but I feel like, to me, it looks more like holographic than it does glitter. I don't know, but look at that second coat. Look how wonderfully it builds up. Yes, we have a little bit of patchiness because this is a lighter color. Sometimes with white polishes, specifically like white Crellys too, it's going to take a little bit to sort of get even, but it does do a great job with self-leveling. So I thought it was okay actually with these 2 coats. Could I have done a better job with polishing? Yeah, probably, but this was just a nice little swatch for you guys to see. But even here on the solo finger shot and just those 2 coats, you can see how nice the polish did end up self-leveling, even with me not being very neat with my polishing technique in this swatch. So I thought this was a beautiful polish. Again, another all year round color that you can wear. So we're looking at 2 coats of Effing Perfect. Next up we have Cover Me in Sunshine. I was just singing it before I pressed record, but I'm not gonna sing because I don't have a nice voice. This one is described as a teal Crelly with Aurora shimmer and Galaxy glitter. That Aurora shimmer is very intense. It is a nice yellow coppery tone that we're seeing. I feel like it's definitely jam-packed. The formula for this one was very nice to work with. You can see that there's no running, there's no pulling. On the first coat it is a little more sheer, but these are all Crelly polishes, so we're going to expect that, right? On that second coat you're going to see that that teal color, that teal base is really building up, and we're going to get a nice fresh opaque look. Look at that, guys. Look at that. I think long or short nails, I'm really going to say 2 to 3 coats, just like I always say, depending on preference, your nail length, the nail line, all of that. But look how beautiful this is in 2 coats. It is so plump and juicy. That shimmer that's running throughout the nail is stunning against this more teal base. I love it. I think this is a nice polish to wear now when you are in the more warmer months. And even honestly as a nice transition from summer to fall, because it is more on the more like neutrally sort of blue side. Like it's not your bright blues that you would wear in the summer. It's a more deeper shade of like teal, green blue. Teal is green and blue, so it's a more deeper shade. And then of course in the winter months, I like to wear blues, teals in the winter, specifically in January. I know I've said this before, when I think of January I think of blue. So yeah, but this is a beautiful polish. So we're looking at 2 coats of Cover Me in Sunshine. And the last polish in the Carnival collection, this one is called Get the Party Started. So this one's very different than all of the polishes we just saw. This one is described as an orchid tinted hollow glitter bomb with Galaxy glitter mix, magenta glitter mix, and Aurora shimmer. So we have definitely more glitter in this one. This shade of purple is like your dusty sort of purpley shade, which is nice for the fall months and definitely nice for the winter months as well. The addition of all of the extra glitters in here just makes it such a fun polish that you can wear, you know, at night, on a date night, on, you know, your weekend mani or something like that. To me, I feel like this is a neutral base. I know for some people, if you wear neutrals, you're like, what is she talking about? But I like my dark vampy colors. I like my bright colors. So a shade like this, to me, I would consider a neutral shade for me. But obviously you have the addition of those beautiful glitters in there, so it spruces it up a little bit, gives it some pizzazz, and makes it more fun. I'm going to recommend 2 to 3 coats for everybody. Definitely a glitter smoother and then your glossy top coat over it so that you can get a nice plump, juicy effect. So we're looking at 2 coats of Get the Party Started. Now we're moving on to the Sugar Rush collection. This one, I just want to mention that it's inspired by the arcade game from Wreck-It Ralph. My boys, I have 2 little boys, they love that movie, Wreck-It Ralph, and it's so cute. So I love this collection because of that. But this one is called Sweet Seekers. It's described as a milky pastel baby pink with shifting iridescent flakies, glass flecks, and scattered holographic flakies. So we have a lot going on here. This polish is definitely on the lighter end. All of these polishes really are more on the more softer, neutral, flirty, airy sort of side. So just keep that in mind. I feel like it goes really well with the sort of like Sugar Rush inspo. We can see here on the second coat, we're really building up that base. We get that nice milky pastel baby pink that's described. The iridescent flakies in here, they don't stand out too much. They sort of give you that pond effect where it's like barely there, but a nice little like glimpse in like a glimpse in a swampy pond, a swampy pool, but not, don't think of that like negatively. So when you look into like something swampy, it's sort of like murky, you can't really see it that well. So that's what I think of when I think of the flakies in this polish. Like it's murky. Those are such bad words to use to describe, but like I think you know what I mean. Like it's that pond effect, but a more murkier sort of effect where it's like barely there, but we have these beautiful softer shades to sort of give it a dimensional effect. I think it looks really pretty. I did 2 coats. I think 2 to 3 coats will look fine for everybody, depending on what, you know, your nail length and what you're really looking for when you polish your nails. So we're looking at 2 coats of Sweet Seekers. Next up we have Lickety Split, and this one is a milky pastel green with shifting iridescent flakies, glass flecks, and scattered holographic flakies. I went a little bit too ham on that first coat. With all of these polishes, don't do what you're seeing. Go in very thin on your first coats, on all of your coats, to really build up the opacity, really build up the components in the polish. I have a bad habit of always polishing on the thicker side with thicker coats, so that's why. But thin is the best with these polishes, and you want to wait for your coats to dry just because they're so component heavy that you don't want things shifting around. So you can see on that second coat there was some shifting around. So just keep that in mind, that you need to wait for your polish to dry, and you want to work in thin coats to get a nice, beautiful finish. The flakies in this polish are so pretty, the iridescent flakies. Again, we're getting that sort of pond-like effect, not as murky as we saw with Sweet Seekers. I went in for the third coat because I wanted to hide any imperfections that I did. I'm kind of glad I went in for that third coat because it really built up that pastel green. It gives me like dusty, minty vibes, and I'm here for it. I'm loving it. But look at that, look how juicy and plump this looks. We can definitely see the beautiful iridescent flakies. They're sort of this yellowish lime green color. And then the scattered holographic flakies are very sparse, but it does give it a little bit of twinkle. So we're looking at 3 coats of Lickety Split. Next up we have Get Me Out of This Cupcake, such a cute name. This one is described as a milky white with shifting iridescent flakies, pastel glitter mix, pastel circle glitter, aurora shimmer, and scattered holographic flakies. So lots and lots of components, but we are seeing a nice milky white base. I feel like it leans a little more gray, but it could just be all the components that are in here. These circle glitters are so cute. I always love anything that's contrasting on the nail. We get a nice pond effect. We get a good covering of all of the components. We don't have to do any fishing. Again, like, please wait for your polish to dry. I was so impatient. I know this is, I'm a bad swatcher here, but I was so impatient. Because if not, like, you need to work evenly. Things are just gonna get messy because there's so many components, but the end result, you will see, is gonna be beautiful. You see how everything is nice and dried down now. But yeah, I went in with 3 coats. I honestly think if you want more of an opaque look, you're gonna have to do 3 coats anyways, so it worked out in the end, right? It just, you gotta wait for the finished products. Like, trust the process. But look at that. Now we're really seeing a more sort of a milky white base, definitely like a tint of gray in there, tint of blue. You can still see those bright the bright circle glitters. We do see the iridescent flakies peeking in from within. So definitely a fun, cute polish. So we're looking at 3 coats of Get Me Out of This cupcake. Next up we have a Yippee, and this one is described as a milky pastel sky blue with shifting iridescent flakies, glass flecks, and the scattered holographic flakies. So truly a nice pastel sky blue that we're looking at here. You can see on the first coat it is a little bit sheer, like they've all been applying on the first coat. We can see a lot more of those iridescent flakies peeking in from within. I think they're all leaning, in all these polishes, they all lean towards a like orangey yellowish shift. It could be just because of the lighter, milkier sort of shades, or they could just be that color anyways. I don't know, but that's what I'm seeing. I'm going to recommend 2 to 3 coats for everybody, depending on your nail length, your preference, what you want out of the finished product. If you want something a little more sheer and you don't mind some of your nail bed or nail line showing, I think 2 coats will work fine for you. If you want more of a fuller, plumper, more of a blue toned sort of base, then you're going to want to do a 3rd coat. I did do a 3rd coat just so you guys can see. So you see here that blue is brightening up. We're definitely getting a more sky blue as opposed to a more like milkier sort of blue. A lot more flakies are dispersing on the nail. This one is like jam-packed with all of those flakies. I don't really see, I guess I can see a little bit of the holographic flakies scattered within, but just at certain angles, like on this finger swatch right here, you can see some of the twinkle along the nail, but of course the iridescent flakies are the star of the show. So we're looking at 3 coats of Yippee. Next up we have Von Schweetz. I think I'm saying that right, but this one is described as a milky pastel teal with shifting iridescent flakies, glass flecks, and scattered holographic flakies. So of course same components like the previous ones. This one applies a lot more, I wouldn't say a lot more sheer, I guess, but not as dense or intense in shade. On the 2nd coat is when we really start seeing more of the teal color. So color is definitely building up. These iridescent flakies, we not only see some of the orange and the yellow, but I see some pink in there, which I really appreciate because it's making this mani look so fun, so delicate, so like girly. I usually don't like, I say this all the time, baby blue. And this reminds me of baby blue, even though I know it's described as a teal. I feel like it leans more blue than it does green. But you have these pretty pink, orange, yellow, iridescent shifty flakies in here, which is catching my eye. And I really like the combo between this lighter sort of blue teal shade and those pink shifting flakies. And the fact that the formula was great. This is 2 coats right here, and it's giving you a nice plump, juicy finish. So we're looking at 2 coats of Von Schweetz. And the last polish in the Sugar Rush collection, this one is called Your Candiness. This one's described as a milky pastel lavender with shifting iridescent flakies, glass flecks, and scattered holographic flakies. So a little more pigmented on that first coat, but we can really see the milkiness in the first coat. The shifting iridescent flakes look a little more muted on that first coat. We built it up on the 2nd one, and we're really seeing more of that lavender pastel shade. The flakies we can see more of, but I feel like they're not as prominent as in our other polishes that we saw. Not a bad thing. I feel like it plays into this more delicate shade. The shifts I'm looking at, that I'm seeing, are pink and orange and a little bit of yellow. This one I feel like is such a light lavender shade. It's such a pretty shade. This would be so nice on the toes. Honestly, I feel like all of these would look amazing as pedicures if you like that neutral sort of look on your feet. But we're looking at 2 coats of your Candiness. All right, everybody, that is all that I have for you today. Let me know if you already picked up any of these polishes or if you're thinking about picking them up. Thank you again, and I'll see you in my next one.